In a quiet town surrounded by dusty fields and broken roads, a boy named Arman grew up watching people chase quick success and fail just as quickly. Every tea stall conversation sounded the same. Someone planning a shortcut to wealth, someone blaming luck, someone quitting halfway. Arman noticed a pattern early. People loved the idea of greatness, but they hated the discipline required to reach it. He wasn't special, talented, or rich. In fact, if you measured raw ability, many of his classmates were far ahead of him. But Arman had something rare. He wasn't addicted to excitement. He was addicted to progress. When Arman was 16, he decided he wanted to become stronger, smarter, and more capable than the average man in his town. Not for fame, not for applause. He simply hated the idea of living an ordinary, replaceable life. The problem was he had no mentor, no fancy equipment, and no motivating speeches guiding him every day. All he had was a simple rule he wrote on a torn notebook page: small effort. Every day, no excuses. The first test of that rule came fast. On winter mornings, when cold winds slipped through cracked windows, Arman forced himself out of bed before sunrise. He would run along uneven roads while the rest of the town slept comfortably under warm blankets. Some mornings felt pointless. No dramatic transformation. No sudden power. Just sweat, heavy breathing, and tired legs. His mind constantly whispered, "Skip today. One day won't matter." But Arman understood something most people ignore. Success is not destroyed in one dramatic failure. It dies quietly through repeated small excuses. Months passed. His friends laughed at his routine. They chased temporary pleasures, video games all night, endless scrolling, lazy afternoons filled with talk and no action. Arman joined them sometimes, but never at the cost of his daily promises to himself. If he planned 1 hour of study, he completed it. If he planned 50 push-ups, he finished them even when his arms shook. He treated commitments to himself like contracts that could not be broken. There was nothing glamorous about his life. Progress came painfully slow. His body didn't transform in weeks. His grades didn't skyrocket overnight. No one praised his discipline. In fact, people mocked it. "You're working hard but going nowhere," they said. And honestly, from the outside, it looked true. Arman still lived in the same house, wore simple clothes, and walked the same streets. But what they couldn't see was the invisible construction happening within him. Mental toughness, self-control, and the ability to keep moving when motivation disappeared. One evening, after failing an important exam, Arman sat alone on his rooftop staring at the dark sky. For the first time, doubt hit him hard. He wondered if consistency was just a fancy word people use to comfort themselves while failing repeatedly. The temptation to quit felt heavy. But then he asked himself a brutal question. If I stop now, do I become better or just more average? The answer was obvious. Quitting wouldn't remove pain. It would simply replace growth pain with regret pain. So the next morning, he woke up and followed his routine again, not with excitement, but with stubborn discipline. Years rolled forward. The small actions began stacking like invisible bricks. His average grades became good grades. His weak body became athletic. His scattered focus turned razor sharp. Opportunities started appearing: scholarships, competitions, leadership roles. Not because he chased them desperately, but because his preparation finally met the right moments. People suddenly called him talented and lucky, ignoring the thousands of boring days he showed up when nothing exciting happened. By the time Arman reached his mid-20s, he was no longer the overlooked boy from a small town. He had built a reputation for reliability and performance. Employers trusted him. Teammates depended on him. Younger students asked for his advice. Everyone wanted to know his secret. They expected a dramatic story, a lucky break, a powerful connection, a moment of genius. Instead, his answer disappointed them. "I did small things every day when I didn't feel like it." Most people walked away unsatisfied. The truth sounded too simple, too boring. They wanted magic, not method. But Arman knew greatness isn't built in bursts of motivation. Motivation is emotional, it rises and falls. Consistency is logical, it continues regardless of feelings. While others negotiated with their moods, Arman negotiated with his goals. Feelings became irrelevant. Looking back, he realized success never arrived as a single explosive moment. It crept in silently through disciplined mornings, repeated practice, controlled distractions, and promises kept to himself. Greatness wasn't a lightning strike. It was slow construction, brick by brick, day by day. Arman's life proved a hard truth most people avoid. Intensity impresses people, but consistency transforms people. Anyone can work hard for a week. Very few can stay committed for years without applause. That's why average remains crowded while excellence feels lonely. In the end, Arman didn't become great because he was the smartest or strongest. He became great because he mastered the most boring skill on earth, showing up every single day. And while the world kept searching for shortcuts, he quietly built a version of himself that shortcuts could never create.